and Hallelujah. נפשי שובב יערכני במקלי צדק למען שמו גם כי ילך וקיצל מוות לא ידרע כי אתה עמדי שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני טרח לפני שולחן נגד צורריי תישנת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. From the 23rd Psalm, a Psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. Giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. And so we are gathered here this afternoon, sadly to say goodbye to Samuel Deshell of blessed memory. Sholom Shachne ben Binyamin Bechana, Zichrono Livracha, the son of Ben and Anne Deshell of blessed memory, the husband of the late Laura Deshell of blessed memory, the brother of Gertrude Deshell of blessed memory, Meyer Deshell of blessed memory, and Alice Cooper of blessed memory, the father of Judy and Gary Chase and Murray Deshell, and the grandfather of Benjamin. Samuel passed away on November 11th after a long and fruitful life at the age of 98. The sages of the Talmud explain that there is a level on which life extends beyond death without interruption. There, in the Talmud, Rabbi Yochanan said, our patriarch Jacob did not die, despite the fact that the eulogizers eulogized, the embalmers embalmed, and the grave diggers buried. Rabbi Yochanan explained his words by presenting a verse in the book of Jeremiah, and he said, and you fear not my servant Jacob, says God, and tremble not, Israel, for behold, I am your Savior from afar, and that of your descendants from the land of captivity. The verse, clarified Rabbi Yochanan, juxtaposes Jacob with his descendants, and so the sage concluded, just as those descendants are alive, so too must he be alive. In a very real way, Jacob never really died. He transformed, rather, into Israel, into the Jewish people. Jacob, the individual, may have passed on and was properly eulogized and buried. but his essence lives on in his descendants. Same could be said of Samuel Deshell. Today we are eulogizing him, and in a while we will proceed to bury his body. But that doesn't mean he is now dead. On the contrary, he is going to continue to be alive in the lives of Judy, Murray, and of course of Benjamin, his beloved grandson. When we are dealing with a loss, what leaves us is evidence. We don't need anybody to tell us what we are losing. We can see it, we can feel it. But that's not the case with all that stays with us. Most of the time, it is not so evident. That's why the rabbis commanded us to prepare a eulogy, to share some of the highlights of Samuel's life, to help us shift the focus from what is gone to what we keep with us and within us. Samuel was born in Pavlich, Ukraine, a little shtetl outside Kiev, on March 15th, 1919. He and his family came to Canada in 1925, escaping the pogroms and pursuing a better life in the New World. After a short period in Halifax, the Deshells moved to the north end of Winnipeg, where Samuel will remain for almost the rest of his life. In Winnipeg, he grew up in a traditional Jewish home, celebrating all the Jewish holidays and attending a Jewish school. From those early days, he learned to enjoy not just the Jewish traditions, but also Jewish music, starting a collection of records of famous cantors from the golden age of Chazanut, attending concerts of Jewish music, and participating of multiple Jewish choirs. For example, the Talmud Torah choir conducted by the famous Benjamin Brownstone, where he received, of course, a nickname. He was called Shtakel, a Yiddish idiom to use on someone who is very thin. He also sang at the Shari Zedek choir under the baton of Sami Tzur, the Bnei Abraham choir conducted by David Borditsky, and the Yiddish choir conducted by Aviva Cates. Music was extremely important to Samuel, and his love for music extended outside the Jewish world, enjoying opera, Broadway musicals, and Spanish songs. There is a record of Samuel singing a Spanish song in a beautiful tenor tone. Even though Samuel never studied voice, he possessed a refined technique he developed by listening to the masters from the golden age of bel canto. Singing was so important to Samuel that he used to tell that he made his wife Laura to fall in love with him simply by singing to her. Talking about Laura, they met in a party in what could be described as a blind date or a prearranged encounter, short after he came back from serving in the army. Samuel married Laura in 1950, and they had two children, Judy and Murray. Continuing the tradition of their own parents, Samuel and Laura provided a Jewish education to their children through Peretz School, and together created their own version of a Jewish home. And as I just mentioned, Samuel served in the Canadian Army during the Second World War as a stenographer. He was sent first to Liverpool and then somewhere in Holland. Now that we know the atrocities committed by the Nazis during that war, we should be nothing but thankful to Samuel for his years of service to help, in his own way, to defeat evil and to bring once again peace and justice to the world. Samuel had many jobs, but the most relevant were perhaps His time at BD Audio Electric, and of course at the post office, where he devoted some 33 years of his life until his retirement. He remained very active after retirement. Without the limitations of a busy life of a Canada Post supervisor, Samuel had time for other things. He was able to play slow pitch baseball more often because Samuel was a fanatic of baseball and he loved not just watching the game but to play it as well. He played ball past his 90th birthday. Other benefits of retirement was having more time to travel with Laura, especially to New York to visit Judy. Being a lover of the arts, New York provided endless opportunities to enjoy music played by the best of the best. And interestingly enough, retirement also gave Samuel the opportunity to develop the dormant talent that he never had the chance to mature before: shopping. He used to be a terrible shopper, but with age came also the wisdom of how to be a good one. Retirement was also a great time to enjoy life and family, especially after his grandson Benjamin was born. But with Laura's illness, deterioration, and passing, life threw an unexpected curveball to Samuel. Laura's death made a huge impact on Samuel's life. It took a long time to recover from such a devastating loss, but the way back to active life came mainly from his family and the unconditional friendship and companionship of an old friend, Elsie, who gave him renovated energies and a new reason to live. Despite all the ups and downs, Samuel remind, remind, uh, stayed on his home until he was 94 years old. Samuel faced all challenges and joys of his life with the same attitude: music and sense of humor. His sense of humor permeated everything on his life, and he was always recognized for his talent to find something to laugh about in every situation he confronted. Something that not everybody might know is the fact that Samuel's life was in danger many times, from serious accidents to health related issues. But as his children told me, there was always an angel to take care of him, being sure Samuel stayed in this world. Unfortunately, he was called up by the creator of the world on November 11, 2017. But once again, his angel kept him alive until his children and his grandson had the opportunity to talk to him and say their farewells. Almost immediately after that, he passed away peacefully to be reunited with his beloved Laura and all his ancestors. But as the rabbis said, we may talk about his passing, we may eulogize him, and we may bury his body. But as far as we remember his life, we should not talk about death, because Samuel Deshell will live forever in the life of his children and his grandchild. Please rise now for the El Malach Rahamim prayer. El Malach Rahamim Shochem Bameroimim Hametzeh Menucha Nechonam תחת כנפי השכינה ומעלות קדושים קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת שולם שכנה בן בנימין וחנה שהלך לעולמו בעבור שאנו מתפללים בעד הצקרת נשמתו בגן עדן בגן עדן תהי מנוחתו לכם על הרחמים אז תראהו בסדר כנפיו לעולמים וצרר בצרר החיים את נשמתו אדוני ונחלתו וינוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Samuel Deshell, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. In a few minutes, we are going to proceed in caravan fashion to the Shari Zedek Cemetery for the burial ceremony. Just a quick reminder to turn on your four-way flashers and please stop in all red lights. Immediately after burial, everybody is invited to participate of the meal of consolation, and that is going to be at the Haburat Filah at 459 Hartford Avenue, that is Hartford and McGregor. That's going to be immediately after burial. So everybody's invited to come and to participate. But before we proceed to the next stage, I would like to extend some very special thank yous on behalf of the family. First, to the nurses and all the staff actually of the Simkin Center, but especially Terry and Lisa for their exceptional service provided to Samuel. And also the family would like to extend their heartfelt gratitude to Cindy Bass and her music for bringing joy to the last years of Samuel Deshell's life. Zichrono Livracha, of blessed memory. So now we are going to proceed to the next stage, which is to move the casket from this chapel to the hearse. And for that, I would like to invite the pallbearers to come forward and to assume their places. And everybody else, please rise.